It began as a flash in the sky. Then came the sirens. Piercing silence shattered into screaming alarms and chaos. On June 15, 2025, a decade of proxy warfare erupted into something far more intense. Direct missile strikes, drone swarms, and bombarded cities. This isn't covert anymore. This is Iran versus Israel, face-to-face with hypersonic weaponry, stealth jets, and unparalleled stakes. In the next few minutes, timelines, tactics, human costs, and the explosive question on everyone's mind: how far can this war escalate? Stay with us. This is not a repeat of the past. You're watching the dawning of direct confrontation between two regional giants. Night fell on June 15th, with missile trails piercing the starry sky above Israel. Haifa and Bat Yam came under direct fire. Residential blocks reduced to rubble, civilians left scrambling for cover. Across the border, Iran retaliated with ballistic missiles and drones. Tehran's foreign ministry took a hit. Isfahan's military bases were struck, as was Mashhad airport. Temporary paralysis and a sudden eruption of violence. On both sides, defense systems roared to life. Israel's tri-layered shield, Iron Dome, David's Sling, and the long-range Arrow system. Iran, too, deployed its air defenses, claiming successful interceptions and the downing of an Israeli F-35 near Javadabad. The skies over both nations turned into battlegrounds. This was no longer distant war, it was immediate, brutal, unforgettable. Israeli jets F-15S, F-16S, reportedly F-35s, struck key sites in Iran, including its nuclear enrichment facility at Natanz. Iran's response: Fatah-1 hypersonic missiles and drone salvos. Hypersonic missiles travel more than 5 times the speed of sound. Even Israel's advanced shield can only intercept so much. On June 15th, that shield was tested like never before. June 16th marked a pivotal escalation. Both sides declared tactical gains, but the world watched in growing alarm. From Israel came a bold claim: air superiority. They say they've knocked out approximately 1/3 of Iran's missile launchers, over 200 destroyed, and at least 70 air defense systems. Israeli waves of F-15 and F-35 fighters swept through Iranian skies in coordinated operations. The target list: missile cells, centrifuge facilities at Natanz, weapons manufacturing hubs. But Iran, even under pressure, retaliated. Air raid sirens rang out over Tel Aviv early June 16th, signaling yet another wave of Iranian missiles. Explosions thundered as interceptors struck, moments of terror captured by shaky camera footage. Call it war fatigue or psychological strain, but Israeli citizens are nearing a breaking point. Consistent alerts, recurring blasts, the unknown. According to analysts, the strikes at Natanz likely destroyed thousands of centrifuges, but Fordow, deeper underground, remains almost impenetrable. Meanwhile, Iran's Fatah-1 hypersonics continue to pose a serious threat. Each missile that breaks through hits not just infrastructure, it hits morale. June 17th ushered in a diplomatic whirlwind, meetings across global capitals. But war machines stayed in motion. The EU issued a firm call. De-escalation is essential, combined with the demand that Iran cease missile strikes and Israel temper its aggression. In the spotlight, U.S. assets emerged. A fleet of destroyers, most notably the USS the Sullivans and USS Arleigh Burke, were deployed. American fighters and tankers buzzed Iranian airspace. U.S. Navy vessels intercepted Iranian missiles bound for Israel. Though not engaging Iran directly, the U.S. involvement marked a major shift in regional tensions. Tehran responded with caution. Iran does not want expansion, it claims, but warns that U.S. involvement is a recipe for full-scale war, and says any attack on Iranian forces will be met with lethal force. As of June 17th, Iran officially reports 224 dead, 1,500 wounded. Israel's toll stands at 24 dead, over 500 injured, and the community grows anxious over Israel's dwindling missile defense inventory. Each Arrow interceptor costs around $3 million. According to reports, nightly air defense use burns through roughly $285 million. Stockpiles are depleting fast, even with U.S. aid. In Islamabad, the mood is tense. Pakistan condemned Israeli airstrikes, offered mediation on behalf of Iran, and warned of regional instability. China and Russia echoed these warnings, signaling this isn't just a Middle Eastern crisis, it's a global one. Day 6, June 18th, and hostilities show no signs of stopping. Both sides continue their strikes and global attention intensifies. Satellite imagery confirms the Moghadam missile base near Tehran is severely damaged. Strikes also hit oil refineries in Tehran and Isfahan provinces, damage that could cripple Iran's energy supply and economy. Iran, shifting tactics, now targets Israeli intelligence centers and residential zones. Missiles that break through anti-missile shields land closer to population centers, making every breach costlier in more ways than one. Casualty figures have climbed, over 450 reported dead in Iran. Israel remains at 24, though wounded continue to swell past 500. The IAEA reiterated a stark warning: nuclear facilities must never be attacked. Yet reports suggest at least one strike reached nuclear infrastructure. The specter of nuclear escalation looms. In Tehran, families fled, thousands leaving the city under warnings from Iranian officials. Anxiety is widespread, trust is thin, and the desire for clarity is urgent. Diplomatic efforts ramp up. Pakistan, China, Russia, the EU, all pushing for calm. But with missiles still falling, the path to peace remains elusive. So what happens now? The fallout could take many paths. Diplomatic breakthrough? Could ceasefire talks lead to Iran scaling back missile launches and Israel pausing strikes, partly due to exhaustion or dwindling missile stocks? Widening conflict? A misfire or crossing a threshold, like an attack on US or Iranian bases in Iraq or Syria, could drag more nations in and spark a larger regional war. Strategic standoff? Both sides may dig in. Iran could rebuild, emerging with new missile caches. Israel may escalate conventional strikes to pressure Iran into submission. Nuclear red line crossed. Any strike on nuclear facilities sets a new precedent. It signals that nuclear infrastructure is vulnerable, even sacred, and further undermines global norms. For viewers craving clarity, will Israel run out of interceptors before Iran runs out of missiles? Can diplomatic lifelines hold the line, or will this devolve into a broader conflict? And what role will the US and the US defense industry play as this war machine grinds forward? Over 4 days, June 15th to 18th, what began as covert hostilities turned into direct, explosive confrontation between Iran and Israel. Missile strikes, bombs on cities, enormous casualties and shelter-seeking families. The world watches with bated breath. Global diplomacy is scrambling. Military assets are moving. Every day brings a new threshold. Now it's your turn. Do you believe diplomacy can prevent this conflict from spiraling? What role should the US play? As peacemaker or guardian? Who pays the price when war goes public? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if this breakdown helps you grasp the gravity, and subscribe and tap the bell for updates. Because when the world's fate hangs in the balance, every voice counts. Thank you for watching. We'll be here, bringing the full story so you can stay informed and ahead of every twist in this unfolding crisis.